You're tuned into the Burrage Sports Show. What's up, everybody? We're back with another podcast, the Burrage Sports Show. I'm one of your hosts, Mike Burrage, and I'm here with my son,
Mike Burr.
Mike Burr always delivers. Before we start today, because we're going to talk about the NBA. You know the NBA is coming back. They're in the bubble in Orlando, Florida, Disney World. They're going to start the season, but I want to give a quick shout out to some of the people that have been subscribing to the podcast. Shout out to L Boogie, Big V, First Love Ministries, Lou, A-Train. All you guys have given us some great comments. So we just want to say thank you. Thanks for being a part of the podcast and many more. Matter of fact, we had someone from Dublin, Ireland. Check us out. Ireland in the building, baby.
Yep.
So we have people from Seattle in the building. So our numbers are growing. Whether we have one person or 1 million people, we're very happy that you guys are tuning into the Burrage Sports Show. And that's why we do this. We want to bring you good old-fashioned entertainment. We love sports, and we know that you love it too. Yep. What you think about that, Mike Burr?
Yeah, shout out to all the fans. Shout out to Grandma, the biggest fan. And,
Number one fan is Grandma, y'all.
Yeah, and it's been crazy seeing the support and the numbers coming in from overseas and all across the U.S. You know, it's a lot of sports fans, so definitely share it to your friends, and we're going to keep growing.
Yes, sir. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Burrage Sports Show. We got all the social media platforms. Burrage Sports Show. We're easy to find, and we do this for you. It's going to be a great time today. All right, let's get right into it, y'all. You know what we have to talk about. We have to talk about the NBA. We're going to start it off with Mike Burr. He's going to give you a few details of what's going on with the NBA, how they're going to get this season started in the bubble. So, Mike Burr, hit us up, my brother.
Yeah, so the NBA is finally back after a long break due to Corona. But starting next week on Thursday, we're going to have the first games. It's 8 seeding games to kind of some teams maybe have a shot to get into the playoffs or just affect some of the seeds in the playoffs. And then the playoffs start. And it's going to be the regular format for that. So, yeah, it's going to be an exciting time. A lot of teams. Who are some of the teams you're kind of looking forward to seeing, or some of the players you're looking forward to seeing?
Well, I'm gonna tell you straight up, man. I like the Bucks. I like the Bucks. I gotta keep it in the Midwest. You know, we from the Chi, and the Milwaukee Bucks was putting in work, man. Best record in the NBA right now. The best player in the NBA with the Greek Freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what the Bucks are gonna do. Are they gonna be able to pick up that momentum from the regular season? They had the best record in the NBA, so I'm looking forward to seeing the Bucks. I like Toronto. I think they're underrated. They lost Kawhi, but Pascal Siakam has stepped up. I like Toronto. Boston's going to be there. The Miami Heat's going to be there. The Pacers, the Philadelphia 76ers. I mean, they have all the talent in the world. It's just a matter, can they get over the hump? We know they lost by a magical shot by Kawhi Leonard last year.
Yeah.
So they're going to come back. They're going to try to, get some vengeance. So that's who I like in the East. In the West, everybody talking about the LA teams, the Lakers, the Clippers, but don't sleep on the Denver Nuggets. The Utah Jazz could be a dark horse. So those are some of the teams I like right at the top. But, coming off this COVID situation, anybody could, make a run.
Yeah, that's going to be the interesting thing, like with such a weird season. Like, are some players going to be well rested so they play better, or is it going to, like, kind of how we see coming back from the NBA? Are people going to be rusty because they haven't hooped in some months? Like, I feel like it's going to be a mix of both. Like, some players may be like nothing ever happened. Some players may be a little rusty. Some players, like older players especially, may come back better from the rest that they got. So, but that's going to be interesting to just see how that plays out. And something you mentioned, the Pacers. Oladipo was recovering from an injury, so having a couple extra months, and Sabonis stepped up this year, became an all-star. So they may be a team that really benefits from having the COVID break. So I think that's it's going to be interesting to see how that affects how things play out. But yeah, another team you mentioned was Philly. Yeah, their team, they have all the talent. When you look at the roster, And you look just from the top down, they have 2 legitimate star players.
True.
Ben Simmons and Embiid. They have a bunch of great role players, a great coach, but it never seems to click at the right time. You know, it's sometimes Embiid is hooping and Ben Simmons is having an off night, and sometimes it's vice versa. The injuries. And just
Embiid always getting hurt, man.
Yeah, and sometimes he's sick, and you know, it never seems to come together when they need it. But in a crazy season like this, maybe miracles could happen. Like we saw with Toronto last year, everything just seemed to fall into place. You know, for a team like Philly that has the talent, maybe this could be their year. Another team I want to bring up are the Rockets. In this crazy season, D'Antoni's crazy offense might be the time for it. You know, they traded Clint Capella. They're playing small ball. They're playing 5 out, just run and gun. No centers, no big men. It might be crazy enough. Maybe people are tired coming back from the break, and Harden and Westbrook just can go insane and put up points. They had the talent. They got the horses. They got Eric Gordon. They got a lot of talented pieces. So Houston is another team I'm looking out for as well.
Yeah, I like Houston. Let's go into some rosters, you know. So, April, tell me who's on the Clippers roster, because I know they made a lot of different moves. They added a lot of pieces to the puzzle. We got our super producer, April, in the building. So, April, just give us a few players on the Clippers roster and a few pieces that they added.
So, right now, for the Clippers roster, we have their starting 5 right now. Kawhi Leonard.
Beast.
Paul George.
Beast.
Patrick Beverly.
Beast. Homeboy from the Shy.
Ivica Zubac.
Oh, Zubac. Oh yeah, he played for the Lakers for a little bit.
Young boy actually can play.
Yeah, he can really hoop. He's gonna be really, really good for a long time.
Okay.
Marcus Morris.
You know the Morris twins can ball.
Yeah, both of the twins can ball.
They picked up Joakim Noah.
Yep.
Joakim Noah, good. Former Bull. What about that bench?
So for the bench, we have JaMychal Green.
Okay.
Montrezl Harrell.
Dog.
Oh, that's a beast right there.
Reggie Jackson.
Another hooper.
Ball.
Yeah.
Terrence Mann.
He could hoop.
Rodney Magruder.
Okay.
Lou Williams.
There it is, sweet Lou.
Yeah.
Instant offense.
Lou Will.
Instant O.
Patrick Patterson, excuse me.
That's a nice squad, man. Patterson is a workhorse. He's a good player.
Yeah.
See, so when you look at that Clippers roster, man, they added some pieces. They got size. They could play inside. They could play outside. They got a superstar in Kawhi. They got that wingman, that second. You know, you got that 1, and you got to have that 2. And Paul George, Montrezl Harris. I think he would be on our underrated team. You know, because we're going to do a podcast talking about underrated players. You got to put Montrezl Harrell on there. He's had a really good season this year.
But can they beat the Lakers though? Right now, do you? April says no. What do you say?
I say yeah. I think they could beat with that roster we just rattled off. I think they could beat anybody.
They're missing the key ingredient.
Which is
LeBron James.
The GOAT.
King James. Okay.
They know how to go.
Let's talk about the Lakers rosters. Hit us with the Lakers roster. Go do what you got to do to find that. Let's talk about the Lakers roster because I just want to hear what they have because that Clipper roster, it was just power pack. Talk to me about the other LA team.
All right, so starting lineup. JaVale McGee.
I like JaVale. From the Shy.
Anthony Davis.
I like Anthony Davis. From the Shy.
Yup.
Danny Green.
Baller. Champion.
Kentavious Caldwell Pope.
Good player.
Very
solid NBA player.
Good.
Last but certainly not least, LeBron James.
King James. All right. Okay. Let's go into the bench. This is where Clippers might have an advantage. We heard that Clipper bench with Harrell, Sweet Lou. They got some players coming off that bench.
I don't know about that. I mean, obviously you got Lou and Harrell, but you go ahead and say who the Lakers got.
Rajon Rondo.
He a dog.
Oh, I think he hurt his hand though. I don't know if he'll be back.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. Kyle Kuzma.
I like
Hooper.
Kuz.
Dwight Howard.
Oh, Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
That'd be another show, but Dwight Howard will be in the Hall.
Devontae Kakuk.
No. Keep moving.
Alex Caruso.
Hooper. The
Caruso's
Caruso.
Caruso's good.
Quinn Cook.
Hooper.
Got rings with the Golden State Warriors, and he'll hit some big shots. He's not afraid. Woo! So those are the two teams in the top in the West.
And then they picked him up right before COVID, Deion Waiters. Deion Waiters.
The Lakers pick up Deion Waiters?
Yeah, right before the season shut down.
Waiters get buckets too.
He's
if he in shape.
I think he'll be motivated playing with Brian. Brian won't let his players.
Okay.
I think Rondo's back because
Already?
what I'm reading from is the NBA announcing team rosters for season restart, and this was released July 20th, and Rondo's on the list.
Oh wow, that was fast. Cause I know he hurt his hand in practice. So he is a strong, tough player. So I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, when you look at both of the rosters though, they it's crazy. They really match up really well.
They do.
You got Bron, you got Kawhi, you got Paul George, you got AD, you got Harold, and you got Dwight. You know, you got Lou Will, you got Kuzma or Deion Waiters. Like they really, you can go back and forth. So I don't know. It's gonna be a good series. That's definitely what everybody's been looking forward to. I could go either way.
Who's
right
coaching
now.
the Lakers?
Frank Vogel.
Right.
Doing an excellent job.
And we know who's coaching the Clippers. You got Doc Rivers.
Yep.
That's what it might come down to. Because talent-wise, they might be pretty even. Mm-hmm. Now, who's going to execute those X's and O's?
Yeah, and those, like, we know Doc Rivers, he can make those savvy coaching decisions. He's won a championship, so he can play chess out there. And then another advantage the Clippers have is, obviously, they added their two best players, Kawhi and Paul George, this offseason. But their core group has been together for a while. Most of their team has been under Doc Rivers in the system for a while. So, whereas the Lakers were really just kind of thrown together all this offseason and even during the season. So, in terms of chemistry, the Clippers might have a little bit of advantage too there.
Okay. Let's stay in the West. Hit me up with my dark horse in the West, the Denver Nuggets. People sleeping on the Nuggets, man. They're young. They had a great record last year, great record this year. They have some talent. They just have to learn how to win.
Yeah.
Hit me up, April, with the Denver Nuggets starting five. Hit me up with that roster real quick.
All right, so we have Will Barton.
Can play.
Gary Harris.
Can play.
Jamal Murray.
Future All-Star.
Nikola Jokic.
Jokic,
the Joker, All-Star.
Paul Millsap.
Former All-Star.
Yeah, that's a good starting five.
Give me that bench.
So we have coming off the bench, Bol.
Manu Bol, son. He was hurt all year though. But shout out to Manu Bol
Like
and his
8 feet
son
tall.
Bol. Like all of them are skyscrapers.
Tyler Cook.
Okay, keep going.
Torrey Craig.
Keep going.
PJ Dozier.
PJ Dozier can play.
Troy Daniels.
Troy Daniels can play.
Michael Porter Jr.
Michael Porter Jr. kind of dropped in the draft, but could have easily been one of the top picks. Mm-hmm. When he's healthy, Michael Porter Jr. has the potential to be a bona fide all-star.
Then we have Monte Morris.
So that roster is a good roster for dark horses because you got a bunch of young guys who can play, and they've gotten playoff experience the last couple of years. So they're going to be a little bit older, a little bit wiser. They got all-stars. They have athletes. They can play inside. They can play outside. We just going to have to see can Denver turn the corner. But I wouldn't just count them out so easy. I wouldn't want to play Denver the first round.
Yeah, definitely not. They're sitting at the 3rd seed right now. But I'll tell you my dark horse team.
Okay.
If they can get in the playoffs, the Pelicans. Zion just came back, and they were starting to turn the corner. Their record, If you could find that, their record once Zion came back was pretty good. They would have definitely easily been a playoff team if Zion played the whole season. And they have a lot of talent. Zion is a dog. He's a beast. We know what he could do. Brandon Ingram is having a breakout year. Lonzo Ball has been playing better, and he definitely has great chemistry with Zion.
He plays well with Zion.
Very well with Zion. Josh Hart, you got Drew Holiday. You got a lot of good players on the Pelicans. I think they're a couple years away from really being a contender, but they're another team I wouldn't want to play in the first round because they had a factor of surprise. They're a new team, they're a young team. You know they're gonna play hard. They got a great coach. And I really think they're kind of my dark horse team. I think they can really make some noise.
Yeah, I like the Pelicans because with Zion, all things are possible. Mountain Zion, man, the Bulls could have had. I know this is a podcast where we talk about every team, but we from the Chi. The Bulls were in the running to be one of the top 3 teams in the lottery. Then they made a few moves for some reason. Won a few games and got themselves.
They decided to win.
Yeah, they decided to win and got themselves out of the Zion sweepstakes. I don't want to get into that. Yeah. That's a whole nother conversation. But all the Bull fans know what I'm talking about. But anyway, we're not even talking about the Utah Jazz and the Oklahoma City Thunder.
But before we move to that, I have the information about Zion.
Oh yeah, what was their record?
It was 19-11 when he came back.
Yeah. So once he came back, they were 19-11, and their record right now is 28-36. So obviously, if Zion was playing the whole season, they would be right in the mix. They would have been 3rd, 4th seed probably. So that's what I'm saying. The Pelicans, if they get in the playoffs, they might just upset somebody. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, you saw Zion lost like 20 pounds.
Oh,
and he got more muscle. He's more lean. So a lot of that baby fat, because the kid is 19 years old.
Yeah,
is shedding. So we might be, you're right. The Pelicans, again, I don't think they could win it.
Yeah.
But, still the NBA, they could send somebody home. Mm-hmm. But again, what about the Utah Jazz and Oklahoma City Thunder? It's not like they were having bad seasons.
Yeah.
What were the Utah Jazz record and the Thunder's record this season? Got that?
Yeah, the Jazz 41-23.
That's good. That's a great record.
And then OKC is 40-24.
40-20. Those are good. You talk about 2 40-game winners.
Mm-hmm.
So, don't count them out either. They have some superstars. We know what CP3 is doing down there with those young kids in OKC. And OKC is tough to beat at home. Their fans are absolutely bananas. And Utah, they're tough to beat at home. They have a crazy fan base. Mm-hmm. You got Spider-Man, Donovan Mitchell. So, it's going to be tough in the West. But
as always.
But how's the bubble going to impact that? They're playing in a bubble, right? So what team do you think will have that grit where you don't have that necessarily home court advantage? Will that change things up?
That's a good point. I don't even know what I was talking about.
Yeah,
they're in the bubble.
Yeah, that is going to be interesting. Is no home court advantage. Because some teams are almost unbeatable at home, and then some teams really, really struggle on the road, and they really need that home court advantage. So, and then it's not going to be fans, right?
Yeah, I forgot all about that, man. I was talking like they're going to be at home. I forgot they're going to be in the bubble.
Yeah, right. So
that's got to factor in the bubble.
That's going to be interesting. And then some players get hyped up by the fans. So how's that going to be playing in an empty arena? That may affect. So it's so many different factors with this season. We're gonna really see. I don't know what we're gonna see. Yeah, but it's gonna be exciting.
Whoever gets comfortable first is gonna have an advantage because you always have to get comfortable in a new environment. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm talking like they're gonna be at the crib, but that's out the window. I forgot we in the bubble. We playing in Disneyland. So whoever makes it their home court, because that can happen. Like when you hooping in the hood. Yeah. You just get on a rhythm and you take the gym, you and your squad, get a nice run. All of a sudden, y'all running the gym. I think that's how it's going to be. You got your squad just going to have to gel. And once whoever gets that rhythm and it becomes their gym, then that might be the team that make the longest run. But who's going to get there first? Who's going to get comfortable first? Who's going to find that rhythm first? That's a good question. Yeah. So, prediction. who do you guys have to come out of the West? We talked about pretty much all the teams, or at least the teams we think at the top that are the favorites. Who do you think is going to come out of the West as the champion?
Lakers.
All right, we got the Lakers for April, and I got the shirt. The Lakers. I think the Clippers are tough. That's probably gonna be a 7-game series. But yeah, I'm rocking with Lakers. Can't bet against Bron.
So we got 2 Lakers in the building.
Yes.
Almost everybody that's hitting us up in the comments, they picking the Lakers. So Lakers are probably the consensus favorite, but I'm rolling with the Clippers, man.
Oh,
I'm rolling with the Clippers. I got to go with Doc. I got to go with Kawhi. And it'd be nice to see another team in LA win. So I'm going to roll with the Clippers. I'll be the controversial one. But Clipper Nation is fired up too.
yeah.
So your dark horse is who again, Mike?
I got the Pelicans on my dark horse out the West.
What about you, April? Super producer. Who's your dark horse in the West?
I think my dark horse in the West are the Nuggets.
Okay. Yeah, that's my dark horse too. I like the Denver Nuggets. They young, they strong, and they got an all-star in Djokovic. I think Murray could be an all-star.
Yep.
Michael Porter Jr. So we got a little juice there. So
Yeah.
shout out to all the teams, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. But now let's talk about the East.
Yep.
We got to talk about the
Yeah.
East. Right at the top of the East for me is the Milwaukee Bucks.
Of course.
What you think about the East, Mike B?
I mean, of course, you got the Bucks, Giannis. I don't know anybody could do with Giannis. I really don't see anybody beating them. And the other thing is they got a lot of size. They pretty much, I think their whole starting five outside of Eric Bledsoe, but most of their players are above 6'7", 6'8". They got a lot of bigs, versatile bigs too. You got Ilyasova, you got Brook Lopez. So they got bigs that could take you outside, but they could get down low and get rebounds and bang with you. So I think they're obviously the favorite. But you got Philly. Philly has the talent to compete.
They do. They
just got to put it together. Boston is another team with a ton of talent. I think Jason Tatum might need another year or two, but you're starting to see it. He's got it.
He got it.
Jaylen Brown and then Kemba Walker. I think he's a bit of a better chemistry fit than what they had last year. So Boston has the talent too. And then they got Enes Kanter to fill that hole in the middle too. Then of course Toronto. They still, even
Don't
without
sleep
Kawhi,
on the Raptors, man.
Yeah, even without Kawhi, they got a deep stacked team, and Siakam is taking that next step. And then Miami is going to be a tough out. I don't know if they got enough horses to take the East, but they're going to be hard to beat. And they're going to play hard. Jimmy Butler is going to play hard, and the rest of their team. They got Andre Iguodala, Jay Crowder, so they're going to be strong on the defensive end. Bam is a great young player. So those are really the teams in the East. I would have loved to see a healthy Brooklyn team this year, but
that wouldn't have been, man.
Yeah, Kyrie and KD.
Yeah, next year, watch out.
Yeah, that's the matchup I really want to see with.
And Dinwiddie.
Yeah, and Dinwiddie can hoop, and then LeVert too.
Right,
LeVert's a hooper too. So,
but that's next year. Sorry, Brooklyn. Nobody will be there, but yeah, I feel you on that too.
And then, and then the Pacers. If Oladipo, I think those couple extra months might help him. He might be back to what we saw the year before, where in a couple years ago, remember the Pacers took the Cavs to Game 7, or they really made that a competitive series. So, yeah, so those are the real big teams in the East.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you, man, Sabonis down there in Indiana,
Hooper.
Man, he's gonna be on our underrated podcast because people haven't been really watching him because they don't get a lot of nationally televised game. Sabonis is a monster, man. He'll chip off the old block. His dad is a Hall of Famer. Sabonis is a really good player. And Oladipo, he was the franchise guy. I mean, when he got to Indiana, he made some big shots. He excited the fan base. And unfortunately got injured at the wrong time. But yeah, I like the Pacers. I like Nate McMillan as a coach. I mean, he really has them unified. He has them playing hard. They play the game the right way. Mm-hmm. I like the Pacers too, but it's just a matter of how healthy they're going to be. But don't sleep on those Toronto Raptors, man.
Yeah, they're not really getting the respect, I think, because Kawhi left. But they did win the championship last year, and they got all those pieces still there. Siakam is a real baller. He's another person. A lot of people don't get the Canadian games, but if you sit down and watch him, he's up there.
They got Van Fleet.
Hooper.
He's really good. I mean, they got a really good team, but Milwaukee right now is definitely the favorite.
Yeah, I can't see them losing in 7. It's with Giannis. He's just too good right now. I don't know if anybody can stop him. But that is the question. That's the only thing about Milwaukee. If you can slow down Giannis, if you can get him in foul trouble, if you can double team him, force him to pass the ball, sometimes it's Eric Bledsoe, sometimes it's Middleton, but can you rely on them to win you a series? And that's the real big question with Milwaukee. But I don't see anybody stopping Giannis.
But they paid Bledsoe, and then they just ponied up with Middleton. I mean, they gave Middleton some bread. So it has to be Middleton.
Yeah.
Giannis, we know he's going to be Giannis. But like you say, every superstar has to have a player to come through for him in the clutch, make some plays. Giannis is going to get his. Middleton, you got the money now. You're an all-star. Will Middleton have that playoff moment? That's what we're looking to see. Bledsoe's a vet. He got the bag already. So he's going to have a big game, but Middleton is really going to be the master key.
Yeah.
Can he be Batman to Giannis' Superman? That's going to be really the key. I agree with you on that.
Yeah. So right now, who's your dark horse pick for the East?
My dark horse in the East, I got to go with the Miami Heat. And I say that because I love Jimmy Butler, man. I wish he was still a Bull. Jimmy is a dog. He's not going to lay down for anybody. I think they have one of the best coaches in the league in Eric Spoelstra.
Yep.
Hit me with some more people on their roster.
We have Solomon Hill.
Okay, good player.
Goran Dragic.
Hooper.
Oh, yeah. Dragic is a good player.
Bam Adebayo.
Hooper.
We'll dunk you.
Derrick Jones Jr.
Nice player.
Duncan Robinson.
Nice player.
Yeah, so that's a pretty good team.
What about the bench?
So for the bench, we have Kyle Alexander.
Okay.
Jay Crowder.
Jay Crowder can play.
Tyler Hero.
Tyler Hero, young player, came into the league putting in work right away.
Solomon Hill.
Okay.
Andre Iguodala.
Iggy. Should be in the Hall. That's another question. Will Iguodala be in the Hall? That's another podcast at another time, but keep it going.
Myers Leonard.
The big fella.
Hooper.
Illinois.
Kendrick Nunn.
Hooper.
From the Shy.
Yeah, he went to Illinois too, didn't he?
Went to Illinois, played for Simeon.
Yeah.
KZ Akpala.
Okay.
Chris Silva.
Okay.
Gabe Vincent.
See, that's what I'm saying. They got some players on that roster. Kendrick Nunn's going to play. Miles Leonard's going to play. You got Crowder. You got Jimmy B. He a dog. Tyler Hero's been a good young player. I mean, and they got a great coach in Eric Spoelstra. You got Pat Riley overseeing everything. Lonzo Mourning. So you got a good top staff. You win from the top down. So Miami is my dark horse. I'm not saying they could win it, but I think they maybe could cause some damage. You never know. They might get a first round upset or something.
What's interesting too is their starting lineup. They're not starting Jimmy. They're gonna have Derrick Jones Jr. and Duncan Robinson, 2 small forwards. So it's gonna be interesting because their bench is gonna be.
Yeah, well, Jimmy's gonna start. That's just for scrimmage purpose.
Right.
Jimmy will be the starter. Jimmy is their franchise player, so that's just he getting some other people some runs. But Jimmy, so yeah, you talking about for scrimmages, he probably won't start the first couple of scrimmages, but Jimmy B is there. He's their starter and their franchise guy.
Yeah. Miami's a good pick. I would say my dark horse. I don't know. You got a lot of good teams. Like I said, I think I'm rolling with Indiana for this one. I think the couple extra months, because Oladipo was just starting to get his legs under him, and he could hoop. Like you said, he's not scared. He's not backing down. He'll take the big shot. He's a dog on both ends of the court. Sabonis is a real hooper. You know, they got a real talented team. They're scrappy. They play hard. And I think with Oladipo, assuming he can come back fully healthy, they could really upset somebody, you know. And so I'm gonna roll with them. And then I guess who you think is coming out the East?
I have to go with Milwaukee. I got to go with the Bucks.
Yeah.
Fear the deer, baby. I mean, they got the best player. They got size, inside, outside. I mean, now they just have to prove it. I mean, the record was great this year. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, Giannis Antetokounmpo should be MVP. So I'm going with the Bucks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no debate here. I think the Bucks they had the best team, top to bottom. They got the best player in the league. Yeah, I don't, like I said, I can't see anybody in the East beating them in 7 games. And I think even if they get to the finals, the Lakers or the Clippers or whoever else comes out the West is going to have a very tough time with them. So they're definitely going to be there.
All right. April, who you think?
I think it's going to be the Bucks for sure, hands down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hey, in another podcast, we tell you who we think going to win it all. So we predicted who we think might win the West. We predicted who we think might win the East. Once the playoffs get rolling, we'll have some predictions for who we think might win the championship. And things are subject to change. Hey, it's the NBA. Teams might get upset. Teams might lose. So don't hold this in granted. This is just what we feel right now before the season resumes again. July 30th. It's going to be a full playoff. You know, all the rounds, the first round, second round, third round, going to be all, 7-game series back to normal. And the season will the finals will end no later than October 13th. But come July 30th, the NBA is back. We kind of gave you our early predictions, what we think. Mike Burr, what else you got?
That's it.
All right, April, what else you got?
I just want to say that Bol in the scrimmage today, he made his NBA debut. Let me give you some quick stats on that. I think they're the dark horse of the West.
Who?
The Nuggets.
Okay.
He has 16 points, 10 boards, 6 blocks. Let's go.
Let's go. All right. So we heard that Manu Bowles, baby, even though I don't know if you could call him his baby, he like 7'5", but he's putting in that work. But I hope you enjoyed this podcast. We're excited. The NBA is back.
Yes.
Next week, we're going to have some more stuff about the NBA and other sports news. Again, we shouted out all the people. Subscribe. Hit the like button, share it with a friend, put us on your social media. And as always, Mike Burr, drop the beat.